Tesla's had a tough week. 6 reasons we ain't gonna sell. I'm Brian. Welcome to my Tesla weekend. All right. If you can hear me in the chats, let me know. Yeah. Let's get started. So, by the way, you may be watching this on Friday for the live actual version, or whatever version it is on the screen. Starting next week, these will be only on the live versions will only be on the second channel, My Tesla Live. If you haven't subscribed, pretty please do that. But the summary versions will remain here. So that's cool. Tesla had a tough week. Down. It's down 7% in the last 5 days. That's kind of rough. But for perspective, let's look at the 6-month. What are we up? 20% in the last 6 months. So there's some volatility. And a lot of this has to do with the macro. So let's not get too bent out of shape by it. By the way, welcome to Upgrading Patreons, Anthony and Gary. Appreciate you guys so much. Wanted to get that in early, so as a don't forget. So what are the 6 reasons? Well, don't know if you know this, but production is still climbing. While other car makers are having rampant shutdowns and difficulty making and selling cars, more difficulty making than selling, Tesla continues climbing. Giga Shanghai capacity expected to exceed 1 million in the next few years, according to a report. Well, it could exceed it this year. Their run rate at the end of 2021 was 70,000 a month, which would be, 720,000 a year? And we know that they were still parts constrained. And they're still expanding the factory. Same kind of story in Fremont. There is headroom. There is room to grow. And that's just the first reason. Now, when I bought my shares in Tesla, the Shanghai factory was not even done. But I was watching the videos, the progress every week, and I was convinced that at what I bought, which would be split adjusted $38 a share, it was like $198 or something. I don't remember. I did two batches of purchases. I based the upside strictly on the current factory and the upcoming Shanghai factory. I was convinced that those two alone would be sufficient to outperform the market. Cybertruck hadn't even been unveiled yet. So then we've got 2 more factories coming. Don't know if you've heard about that, but there is some good stuff going on in Berlin and Shanghai. Berlin and Austin, and they are ready to start production. We've seen a bunch of cars in Berlin already being produced, just waiting for the permits, and we've seen trial cars coming out of Texas as well. And those factories are like Shanghai, except next generation. So if Shanghai can do 1 million without breaking much of a sweat, these are bigger, better factories. Maybe not bigger. Shanghai is already over 9 million square feet, and it's still growing. So these are a huge upside. If you liked Tesla with 2 factories, you're gonna love it with 4. Production. So what's next? Order backlog. Don't know if you've heard this, but there is an order backlog. We saw this start getting out of hand when Hertz announced that they were placing an order for 100,000 vehicles, and it is getting pretty bad. Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive and long range almost sold out in Europe for the entire year. We're not even to Valentine's Day yet. This is exciting. And just looking at the configurator myself for a Model Y, estimated delivery, December. Now, you can speed that up by going to performance or changing there's ways to monkey around with the order page to get it to show you something a little more exciting. But the bottom line is the demand is not an issue, even at these inflated prices. And I say inflated, I don't know. Considering you could get the car a lot cheaper not that long ago, it's a pretty high price. But every car they sell for that $5,000 premium, A million cars, that's $5 billion. That's more than it costs to build Giga Shanghai for just a $5,000 premium on 1 million cars in 1 year. So it's kind of hard to say no to the money. They could also use that surplus cash to increase solar panel deployment on their own factories, to increase supercharger rollouts, to improve customer service, which I'm sure is at the top of their list. The Cybertruck is coming. I had some discussions on the recent podcast on fast charging, where we were talking about factory capacities. I think it was that video. And people were, or no, it was the video before it where I talked about 2 million units. At any rate, where people were saying, there's no way it can do 2 million. Where's this number coming from? And the answer is, well, that's about the capacity of the space they have for mega casting machines, for the front and rear single cast assemblies. That would be enough to get them to 2 million. So, well, yeah, but they're going to need batteries, right? But the footprint of the factory doesn't control how many batteries they get. It's a matter of can they do it, and do they have the demand? Getting rid of the paint shop for the Cybertruck increases throughput. The quicker you can get from raw materials to a vehicle out the door, the better it's going to go just entirely. So having no paint shop, having the mega castings, having the structural battery pack, all that's going to speed things up. So the Cybertruck isn't just a new vehicle in a high demand segment. It's a new philosophy of making vehicles, and it's going to absolutely make a difference. That is, if you're excited about Tesla at 1,200, just wait until you see the share price when they're selling. It's going to happen. Tesla Energy. Now, I talked about this one a while back, but they can make as much money as they would like by owning their own megapacks. Now, it's expensive to put in megapacks, 100 million each-ish, depending on the size. But they'll start in markets where it makes the most sense, where the arbitrage between off-peak and peak demand is such that they... come on. Having a little lag here, I apologize. If they can start with the markets where the difference between peak and off-peak demand is sufficiently wide that they can make a killing, they can expand into other markets as the cost of batteries falls. And for for stationary storage, there's no reason to use nickel and cobalt intensive batteries. Mobile storage doesn't have the same weight constraints. They can use whatever is available, most likely LFP batteries, which are established technology. Let's say it that way. And then we've got our 10-baggers. So we just talked about automotive. We touched on Tesla Energy. I like both of those, obviously. The Cybertruck is kind of a second prong to automotive. But none of these, to me, are the 10-baggers. None of these are likely to make your stock go up tenfold. FSD will have a powerful impact on Tesla profits. When level 4 reached, and level 5, the sky's the limit. We're seeing the struggles that Waymo is having. We're seeing the struggles that Cruise is having. Cruise says, we are done. We are there. We are at the finish line. Oh, and also we have another round of fundraising. Please give us money. That doesn't convince me. Waymo says they're at the finish line, but they keep losing their executives. That doesn't convince me. This is the sort of thing that is impossible until it isn't. Voice recognition was impossible until it wasn't. And once voice recognition was mastered, it was mastered kind of everywhere at the same time. So let's say full self-driving is mastered everywhere at the same time. It's going to take Cruise or Waymo or Mobileye 3 years, 5 years to start selling their fleet in meaningful numbers. Tesla's just going to have to flip a switch. Now, some cars might need an upgrade on their chipset, but that's very easy to do compared to getting it into a newly designed car on the road. It's going to be big. If you don't believe in full self-driving, I don't blame you. I can understand why you wouldn't. Like I said, it's one of those things that's impossible until it isn't. The other 10-bagger, and this is getting a lot of skepticism, is the bot. And again, I do have a video coming up on this. It just keeps getting bigger and kicking my butt. But it's going to be a good one. It's impossible. And we know it's impossible because Boston Dynamics has spent 20 years and billions of dollars and changed hands a half dozen times, and they can't do it. Honda experimented with their robot. They probably still are. It's impossible because there's one missing element, and that is the human touch. That's what Dojo aims to solve. Building the robot itself is easy. High school students can build a robot. It's getting one that can do any task with little to no training that is so far impossible. And yeah, it would be absolutely a 10-bagger. You would get, if that works, and think of how small the battery is on a Tesla bot compared to a car. You're not going to put a 2,000-pound battery in a robot unless that robot is a car. And the materials needed to build it are much simpler. They could produce them at an outrageously fast pace and sell them for starting at 100,000, pretty soon 50, probably not go below that, even though their cost would quickly fall to 15 or 20,000. That would be pure money. So there's bonus reasons, and this is the shortest part of it. So if you got questions, chuck 'em in the chat. The bonus reasons. I took the other approach on this one. Investopedia's article, The 6 Big Risks of Investing in Tesla Stock. Ooh. So notable risks, yeah. The cars are still too expensive. Are they? I would argue that they're clearly not, because the back order log, the log of orders waiting to be filled, is genuinely massive. And that, if those orders were satisfied today, that wouldn't decrease future orders. There's a lot of people who won't place an order because they're too far out, because they need a car today or next month or next summer, and they can't wait past that point. And they've got the most margin from which to discount of any car maker. So if you've got Ford and Tesla at the same price point, and both of them have to cut their profit in half, well, Ford might be at a negative profit, so their price would go up, while Tesla's would drop by $10,000. Tesla could run out of batteries. I guess. Yes, the store could run out of milk, but we know how much milk we need, and we're ordering it. Tesla's already out of batteries. That's kind of silly. There's kind of no reason for that. They are increasing their battery supply faster than anyone. They already buy from the biggest battery makers in the world. They buy from Panasonic. They buy from LG. They buy from CATL, and all of them in massive quantities. They are the go-to buyer of choice. And they're making their own factories, which will rival all of those in terms of capacity. So, yes, they could run out of batteries. Gas prices could go back down. Yeah, they could. They probably won't. A lot of the supply chain for automotive fuel would not function below about $3 a gallon. When gas prices get under about $3.50, all the Canadian tar sands shut down because it's not cost effective to produce in large volume with heavy, dirty crude. It's not even crude, it's tar. So yeah, low gas prices could, but we're getting past that inflection point. A lot of people have experienced electric cars and don't want to go back. Electric cars are the future, and the future is now. These dinosaurs don't know it, but they're already extinct. Increased vehicle competition in the electric space. Of course. I forgot. Did you guys know? Did you hear the competition is coming? I feel like I've heard that before. I feel like they've been saying that since 2012. At least now they're trying. And in some markets, they're doing pretty well. In Europe, a lot of the competition is doing quite good. But I'm not entirely convinced that's going to work for them. Once Giga Berlin comes online and the import tariffs are no longer a factor, or the shipping costs are no longer a factor in getting your Model 3 or Y from Asia or the US, especially the Model Y at first, though I think the 3 will come pretty soon, it's going to be tough. The European makers are going to have a bit of a struggle. Two notable competitors, the Chevy Bolt and the Nissan Leaf. Well, now I know you're joking. Those are not competitors. Those are not competitors. They're not even serious vehicles. The Leaf has never been put into production high numbers. The Leaf, the pioneer in modern electric vehicles, still hasn't hit their 250,000 unit cutoff for the tax rebate in the US. That's not a serious competitor. And the Bolt, well, those are straight fire. Tesla may never recoup massive expenditures. I mean, sure, I guess. They already have. They've already made a lifetime net profit. But, okay. A controversial part-time CEO. So if this is a downside, I would flip that and say it's an upside. If Elon were to announce tomorrow that he's leaving the company, I believe the stock price would falter significantly. And I believe a lot of the vision might flicker out. When Steve Jobs passed away, Apple is not the same kind of innovative company it was. It's bigger. Financially, it's done very well. I think at this point, a competent CEO could run Tesla quite successfully. But the vision would be lost. At least a big chunk of it. At least having vision from someone in a position to execute on the vision and to push that vision forward. So I think all of these points are, frankly, a bit ridiculous. Why are you guys holding? Why are you still excited about the stock? A big thanks to my Patreons who get early access, bonus content, and ad-free experience, and access to the 11-year production tracker. I don't have to tell you guys. Most of you are probably already on it. And yeah, it's very fun and cool. So why don't we have a chat about random stuff? Let's see what you guys want to talk about. I'll put this up here. Yeah. 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 Oh, what a week. It's been a stressful week, you guys. It has been a stressful week. Especially if you have stock. Okay, wow. Very quiet in the chat. Good day, Jason. Good to have you on the channel. Order backlog for a year is exciting, as long as you're not waiting for one. That is true. And with Texas and Berlin coming online, I believe those waits will shorten, which is also exciting. It's exciting on every front. JJ wants to know if I am ashamed of you all. No. Oh, moved your Nikola/Tesla fans to your other channel. Uh-oh. Let's wait for that buffer to catch up. Yeah, JJ wants to know why I'm moving the live streams to a second channel, and the answer is these are unsubscribe magnets. Most of my viewers come here for succinct analysis, for spreadsheets, for trackers, and while there are fans for the live stuff, it is better to move it to a second channel where it can't hurt me anymore. FSD robotaxis will put a lot of pressure on servicing 5 times to 10 times the mileage of the off-road, and the off-road opportunity cost is massive. So the good way to think about the robotaxis and utilization is, let's say you've got a film school and your objective is to get every student a $10,000 camera. That's not reasonable. That is an unreasonable expectation. But what you could do is get a handful of them and give every student access to a $10,000 camera. So why not? Now, it won't be for everyone, but it doesn't have to be. If even 2% of cars, of new Teslas, become robotaxis, and they're put in use all day, every day, as intended, that's still going to be the equivalent of 10, 20 cars off the road for each one. Because most people don't drive over an hour a day. So that's going to be a big deal. Heard any news about AutoBidder or Gambit Energy lately? No, I haven't. But that doesn't mean it's not underway. They're very secretive about those things. We only found out about Gambit Energy because somebody was driving by and saw that there was Tesla stickers on this new power plant going in. And Believe says, so dumb article. Yeah, it was. Feels like filler is what it feels like. Feels like somebody who doesn't know what the company is just spat it out. I only need one reason not to sell Tesla. I'm not an idiot. Now you see, Toby, that's unfair because a lot of us are. I am an idiot, but not when it comes to this. I'm confident. Some of the robotaxis could have 35 kilowatt hour battery packs. So I've heard this argument a bit that we could just put progressively smaller batteries in 3s and Ys for certain applications. I just don't think that's something they want to do, but I could be wrong. Bolt sold 26 units. Yeah. Comparing Tesla to the Leaf and the Bolt is not evidence of intelligence, is the polite way I shall put it. They just pushed the Y I ordered in November for my mom from June to August. Oh, that's painful. That's painful. When do I think FSD will be solved? I think probably before 2026. I think before 2026 as well. I know Elon had said in an interview with Lex Friedman that it could be solved this year. I think that is a view not shared by the other executives at Tesla, based on how little of the deferred revenue from FSD that they are claiming. It looks like they believe it'll be more like 2023 at the earliest. But I don't know because, again, it's impossible until it isn't. Has Tesla ever discussed the different batteries for large storage? Flow batteries, etc. Individual cells doesn't seem efficient. I haven't seen discussion of it. I know the original Megapack in southwestern Australia did use, I want to say what are they, 18650s, 19650s, the original cells. But that was because they were on a time crunch and they were just proven technology and they work. I would imagine on the longer term, Jordan Giesecke from The Limiting Factor, great channel, believes they will make 4680 form factor LFP batteries. If they do, I think those would be what they would use. Robotaxis is for those that keep complaining about the fact that they don't have a driveway or garage to charge their cars at home. Initially, maybe, but I think for who it's really going to be for, if it is as cheap as they say, is let's say your car breaks down and you're in a pickle, just take the robotaxi for a week. A week might be all it takes to convince you, don't fix your car, junk it. It could be people who are just moving out of the city, especially in Europe, who've never had a car before. And for them, this is all they ever need. Or even in New York. A lot of people in New York have never driven. This could be an easy way for them to transition to the suburbs without buying a car. And think of the savings. You could afford a little bigger house if you didn't have to also go out and buy something with a $600-700 payment, or even a $300 payment. Because you could get around in a robotaxi quite reasonably, likely for less than $300. And think of the stress you avoid, and the insurance, and the registration, and the repairs. Hassle-free is wonderful. Sandy did a great look at the Rivian today. Great. Mark, I saw that, and I was really impressed. I was really impressed with RJ. I've never seen an interview with him before. He seems like an incredibly sharp guy, and the Rivian looks great. It looks, honestly, I'm impressed. I still say it's too heavy, but for a first-generation product, come on. And they're struggling to ramp, but that's because ramping is difficult. But that's going to come along. I'm excited about the Rivian. Not excited enough to invest. South Australia. Sorry, South Australia. What is the problem with home installs? Is this too hard or not? A problem that Elon wants to address. I don't know, and it's been a problem for ages. And it's something I feel needs to be addressed. Home installs need to get serious or step back. If I was a customer, I'd be very frustrated. Mark says he sold his car and rides the bus. Mark would be a prime candidate for the robotaxi. Who is this says, if I'm in a pickle, I'm eating it. Which I assume he means the pickle and not the Cybertruck. Not the robotaxi. Daniel says, once you have a robotaxi, your car can drive off and charge itself. Yeah, that's also true. You don't have a driveway to charge in? Yeah, send it. And you only need to send it once a week, every 2 weeks, depending how much you drive. Those are all valid points. So guys, we're almost up to the half hour here. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me, even though I know there are other events going on that are potentially more exciting. And just looking at my concurrent viewers, I can tell when it started. So the reminder, the live stuff starts on the second channel next week, next Tuesday with an episode with Bear's Workshop, next Friday for the regular weekly roundup. So what did I miss or misunderstand? Leave me all your thoughts, your comments, all that stuff in the comments below. I do have some videos coming out this weekend, so be on the lookout for that. And it's exciting. I can't wait to hear from you clever robots on Superb Owl Sunday. Maybe.